Welcome, everybody, to the Daily HiFi Podcast. We do this every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. My name is Chana. With me, as always, we've got Mr. Joe Intel and Mr. Aaron from his sweaty basement corner.
Man, it's hot. It's humid, too.
What's going on, fellas?
What's up? What's new over there? What's going on with you, Aaron?
Man, just troubles.
Internet troubles. The oldies over there.
Lawnmower troubles. Man.
Oh, man.
It's like stuff is not working out well.
Oh, man. Lawnmower troubles.
My lawnmower won't stay started. So I don't know if it's the starter or if it's just a bad battery. So right now I've got it on a trickle charger. And I'll try it out after this and see if it cranks up right.
You just reminded me I need to look for a new charger. Thank you, Aaron.
Yo. New charger, son.
Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Did I say the wrong day? I said Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
What's up, everybody in the chat? We've got the Gooch. Van Gool. What's up? Gooch is saying dealing with some health stuff, but planning to see at the show. Supposedly I get in free. Really? That's awesome. How's that? I don't know. Van Gool in the house. Reverend Slim. He's halfway here. Michael Squires with the now these guys got the cool logos because they are part of the Daily HiFi Crew. If you want to know what that's about, you need to go to crew.dailyhifi.com and become part of the crew. Rich is in the house. Marv, aloha. Yeah, Chris Wyndham, High Finest, Hamza, Magic Beans Architects. I think we were just talking about Magic Beans. Aaron wants to get some, but he doesn't know if he'll be gaseous. I mean, his system will be gaseous afterward. So
yeah, definitely don't want system gas. That's not
you don't want any tooting over there, huh?
No, I would be saying it would be cool to use it on the Wii Amp, which I have right here, because it now has 10 bands of PEQ. And in the update, it says that they're going to have 10 bands of PEQ per channel. So that might be handy in case you have some speakers that have some awesome directivity, but maybe kind of a odd frequency response. I don't know about odd, It's not the frequency response I would have chosen. I'm referring to your recent review of the TAD speakers. Some of the best directivity I've seen. I'm like, dang, it looks great. But the frequency response is not what I would have chosen. I understand the bass stuff that it did, but kind of like in the higher frequencies, it's not. I don't know why that was like that.
Yeah, I was kind of confused. Like when I think of high-end speakers, I think of ones that you're talking like $87,000 a pair, right? So I pictured these. How do I want to put this? I guess in my mind, when I think of somebody paying that much money for speakers, they've got a huge room and they're bringing them way out into the room. And in doing so, it's kind of going the opposite of what those speakers appear to be designed to do, which is to be placed close to a wall to boost up the lower mid bass or upper mid bass, lower mid range area. So that kind of threw me for a loop. I thought that was interesting. The overall response, though, I thought was really good. And that sound power, man, that was legit. I am more and more convinced that sound power is probably the most important thing. Like I used to not think that, right? But now I'm thinking maybe it actually.
I'm on the same page. To me, that's the main thing that I look at.
Well, so there's speakers that it's hard to say for sure because there's no way to test that out, right? But there are speakers that will have really good control directivity in the tweeter, right? But there's like a mismatch vertically because they have big waveguides and they don't have good sound power, right? Because if you're going from, I don't know, like 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz and you're kind of like plotting along until about 1K or something, and there's a bump and then it's basically flat in the higher frequency area because it's constant directivity. That's not good sound power, right? But a lot of that is that vertical displacement between the tweeter and the mid bass driver. So if you just look at it in horizontal terms, it's still really smooth. Most speakers have pretty good horizontal sound power and early reflection directivity, but I just don't know. Like I'm kind of like, so I don't know. I got nothing right now. That's just me.
Well, I guess in the bass, let's say have you seen some with bad directivity in the bass region? Because I would think that it doesn't really matter so much
Yeah,
in
I've
a
never
room
really seen
bass
that.
wise. You're not only are you going to use subs likely, but it's almost like the room and the speaker are all working together. And
Well,
you can't separate them out in that
in the
point.
bass, it's pretty much omnidirectional, right?
Mm.
So I don't think that I've ever come across a speaker that has bad directivity below maybe like 300 or 400 hertz.
Mhm.
But then when you start getting above that, then you can run into some resonances, and then higher above that, you can run into some crossover issues.
Yeah.
So it just kind of it varies.
It's interesting when we talk about directivity because sometimes we say good directivity, and it's like, what's good? You know, what is really good?
Yeah.
What does that mean for directivity to be good? Because let's say, like you're saying, in the tweeter area, it's all nice and like perfectly flat, but then the handoff to the mid range could be like a big jump. So it's good in the tweeter, and then the mid range could be nice, but the fact that there's a jump between those, that's to me that's not good. To me, that's the main thing that makes it not good. Is that cannot be that I don't think that can be fixed.
Yeah. The directivity problems cannot be fixed with equalization, right?
Mm-mm.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah. What else? What else we got going on? We're busy.
Hold up.
Yeah. Tell me.
Wait, hold up. Wait a minute.
Pretty much. Well, so play cardioid down to like 200 hertz. Yeah, but
we're playing Cardi B down to 200 hertz. What are you talking about?
That's it. That's all, man. If you're listening to Cardi B, it needs to go lower than that.
Man,
she's like making some people mad and not doing too well.
I played some Cardi B on your favorite brand of speakers. They who shall not be named. Some of their stand mounters, and man, they could not handle the bass, dude. So like, it was a different company. It was Parasound, and they were using those speakers with their amps. And I played some Cardi B for good old Richard Schramm, and he was like,
okay. Which song?
Get Up 10.
Which one?
It's so like the one from the first one off the album where she's like, she says all kinds of stuff. Oh, yeah. I mean, remind me about the whole Eminem thing. Because this stuff is hilarious.
Eminem's new song is garbage. All right.
No, it's not that. It's the drama that's happening on TikTok with the two generations that are fighting over claiming him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude.
That's funny.
It's hilarious.
What are you watching, bro?
Huh?
What are you watching?
I saw the video, right? And he's totally making fun of his other video. What is it? Feel So Empty Without Me, right?
Yeah, the real Slim Shady.
Yeah, right. And it's a total knockoff. Every like scene by scene, it's almost the exact same video if you put them next to each other. People don't understand. So he's gonna do the silly one. And like some people, he said something about Megan Thee Stallion, and he said, he even said, he said "fuck you" to Dre and his kids, and like all this stuff. It was just kind of like, and people like Gen Z's are having a field day. They can't handle it. They're like, this is garbage. And then like millennials were like, Eminem just woke up the entire
thing sounds like garbage to me.
What, the album? Oh,
the whole thing. This whole situation, like,
oh, dude, it's hilarious. It's pure comedy.
To care about this stuff.
Yeah, it's pure comedy.
I definitely don't. It's like when you're busy, it's great to be busy. It's great to be busy, like doing stuff that's important, because you start to realize like stuff that you may have gotten sucked into. You're like, the hell am I watching? What is this? I should not care about this. So been very busy doing the stuff for the show, preparing. We got to start setting up in 2 days?
2 days, yeah.
2 days we'll be over there setting up.
So Thursday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Do you want to let's give them the show hours, because they just released those today, right?
Yes. Right? Well, I don't know that they released it. I called the guy and he said that it starts at 12 And then you said that it's earlier on a different day, right?
Yeah, it's 12 to 6 on Friday, 10 to 6 Saturday, 10 to 5 Sunday.
Okay.
There's a kickoff party on Friday at 7 and 7 to 10 or something. And then there is a concert on Saturday from 7 to 10. That's also included. That's all included in your and there's a raffle, not a party, but a raffle on Sunday at the end of the show. So that's all part of your admission. What did you have? You had a code, right?
I think it's on one of our posts for a discount.
Yeah. I think I got it here. Exhibitor 5 at checkout, theshow.com to get $5 off your ticket. Yeah. But yeah. Good old doom scroll. Yeah, sometimes, man. I actually I picked up some DJ equipment. And you know what I gotta say, man? I miss my Denon DJ equipment. Well, as soon as I turned it on to update it, because I got a bunch of DJ gigs in the summer that I gotta use. This Pioneer I know it's the industry standard, but dude, this it has no features. This is another example of just like in the audio space, they're just resting on their laurels and they are not innovating. What happened when Techniques didn't innovate in the DJ space? Well, Pioneer came along and became the industry standard. So it's just a matter of time before some other company becomes the industry standard because the current industry standard not doing anything to innovate. It's just the same shit.
Relaxing.
Mm-hmm. It's chilling. Chilling. Not
Man,
like Aaron.
I'm still trying to look for something with a smooth directivity, but
hot over there. That's
I'm
all.
totally chilling. Oh.
Well, we know you're chilling.
You're chilling. Actually, in my review of this Wii Amp, I kind of start off by saying, if you want to be sold on this, right? Or if you already bought this and you want verification that you made a good choice, then this is the video. Because that's all this video is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not making any measurements. I'm just talking about the fact that I like it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how people will feel about that, but it is what it is. If I can't measure it, then I just got to talk about features, right? And it just so happens that I actually like the thing. So yeah.
Speaking of Wii Amp, here's this one. This was starred. Would the Wii Amp do well with the KEF LS50 Meta in a medium-sized room? Yes. See, that was easy. I like those.
Did you see the new one that they have? I think they
Wii Amp Pro. Yeah, is that the Pro or is that their pre processor thingy? What is that?
I think it was a pre-pro or not pre-pro. What is it called? Like a streamer.
Yeah. Is that just it's like the Wii Ultra or something like that, right?
Yeah.
They sent out the the marketing stuff. Did you get that email?
I don't know.
You probably got it and just deleted it. They sent out, I guess, not long after. Well, I got it in a reply, so maybe that's why.
The Wii Man. The Wii Man.
The Wii Man.
Wii Amp. And then the next one, the new one is the Ultra, right? Amp Ultra or Ultra Amp.
Yeah, the Ultra is like a preamp, I guess, right? It's a streamer, right?
Yeah,
but it doesn't have a built-in amplifier. And I don't know what all other features it has. And then there's the Wii Amp. What did we decide it was? The Pro, the new Wii Amp. And the only thing that I saw, at least that jumped out to me, was that it has that feed-forward biasing thing with the Class D amplifier. So it's not dependent upon the load. So basically the frequency response is flat no matter what load you present to it. Whereas the previous version, like a lot of Class D amplifiers, at least on the bargain end of things, have variability based upon the load. So the frequency response can change depending on the speaker. So when people say, oh, I hear differences in amps, and we're like, no, you don't. We're like, well, you might, right? You could possibly. Are you likely to hear it? Probably not, but is it possible that you could? Yes, it's possible.
Yeah, I just like the screen on it. I like what these guys are doing.
Because I saw people complaining about the screen. They were like, oh, it's stupid. If I wanted a screen, I would get blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, then just don't buy this thing. It's not for you. That's cool.
It's just there. Let's see.
Hey, quick question, Joe.
Yo.
My friend wants to know what wardrobe would look like.
What?
What should she wear? To the
Oh,
show?
because you guys were saying something about booth babes. There's it. So Chana made a call.
Don't you say you guys? I had nothing to do with that.
Hey,
No,
that's
No.
my old background.
This is
Yeah.
you just now noticed? It's been here for like 20 minutes, man.
No, it hasn't. No, it has
Three.
not been here for 20 minutes. We've only
3.
been live for 15.
I
Liar.
know.
I got you.
exaggerated on purpose. It's called hyperbole. Listen, maybe 3.
Yeah, that's a digital blast. Anyway, yeah.
So we're gonna have Chana's friend come by and hang out for a bit.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, if you want to see our model, come by on Saturday. She'll be there Saturday at the show. And what are you falling or something?
Oh. Backstrokes.
Pretty sure that was Angela's idea.
Yeah, so it should be fun. You know, trying something new.
Let me respond to her right now. Business casual, normal clothing. What I mean,
Look at how you're dressed right now.
Yeah,
Like
bro.
what
you
would
look
be normal for
dope.
somebody else to wear that looks like that. Just like that.
that's such a fucked up explanation. Okay, be like,
No, seriously, like
What's wrong with that?
like just dress like you'd go to Starbucks or something. I don't know, just normal. You know, don't be overdressed. Just dress normal.
Did you say dress like you go to Starbucks?
yeah, that's what he said.
How
Yeah,
would you pop into Starbucks if somebody was overdressed? You'd be like, where are they going?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And then
funny.
if
Like
you're wearing
at
something too
work since
skimpy-
COVID.
Huh?
So since COVID's happened, things have gotten kind of lax at work with what you can wear, right? Like you can wear jeans and polo and tennis shoes, right? So what happens is every once in a while somebody may have a presentation to make and they'll dress up, you know, get the suit and tie, and we always like, well, you got an interview today? You know, you leaving us?
Yeah, just comfortable. You know what I mean?
that's what I'm saying.
That's like-
Dress for comfort. We'll be in a hotel suite. It could get cold, could get hot.
We're gonna be bumping music. Like, what do you want to do?
Ugly.
You know? No. Uh-oh.
I'm excited. I'm Lloyd Banks.
Actually, you know what? I've been to Starbucks
Yayo.
lately,
50 Cent, Curtis Jackson.
and then the white boy in the middle.
Ned.
Oh,
Green screen is like the best thing ever, man. I've had way too much fun with this thing.
I've been enjoying it. But yeah. I mean, my brother was watching the stream that I had with those guys from Dolby and stuff, and he's like, I was like, hey man, I'm about to get some food here in Pasadena, blah blah. He's like, dude, I was just watching the stream. Weren't you at home? I'm like, no, that was a green screen. He's like, oh no way.
That looks crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. You want to get at some start comments because I want to continue on the thing that we were talking about last time about the Atmos panning. You know, I asked the guy to be on, but it's like he's in the UK, so it's gonna be
All right,
like
so get
real
through
late.
some of these. Is that what you're saying? Will you guys add a new amp equipment? New equipment to Magic Beans. What do you mean new equipment?
Will you guys add new equipment to Magic Beans?
Oh,
You mean like support for
Yeah.
for different devices?
I think
I
that's
mean,
probably
already we support pretty much any calibrated mic. You know, we even support the ACM1, the Odyssey mic that it comes with. You have to get some adapters and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know what you mean exactly. We have
probably
we talked about iOS
supporting the export. Maybe that's what it is. More devices that are supporting the export.
What don't we support?
I don't know.
That's a-
Eversolo DMP8, and it has PEQ or upload FIR filters. I don't know what FIR filters are. Is that something we can use in Magic Beans?
Yeah. So are the FIR filters? Is it based on a like convolution filter? Like how does it import? Because we support convolution filters. We already support custom PEQs. So you know, unless it has something really weird, we can export to any type of PEQ.
So what is a FIR filter? What does FIR mean?
Oh man, that's beyond me. It's a different type
finite
of.
impulse response. And
That's right. There he is.
I
There
can't
it is.
remember.
I
My
knew
mind
it.
is drawing a blank now. On like,
No,
oh
that's
yeah.
it. That's it.
Hold on.
finite impulse response.
That's
filter.
the one. I always get them confused. Which one is the one that doesn't affect the phase? Right? Is that
IIR, infinite
infinite?
impulse.
Infinite, yeah. So
Okay.
FIR, for those wondering what FIR is, it's a filter whose architecture guarantees that its output will eventually return to 0 if the filter is excited with an impulse input. Boom. Write that
All
down.
you need to know is that FIR filters, they require more processing power. And so typically some of the, the chips that are built into our devices can't handle too many of those, they're better in some senses because they do affect phase. So, but they can add delay, which is not good if you're, a gamer or something like that. You don't want to add any additional delay. What else? I think it requires a lot of processing power, especially for the lower frequencies where you kind of need a lot of
FIR filters do.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of equalization.
Yeah.
But people like it because you can do stuff with phase, and that's why I'm always like, man, Dirac is pretty awesome at what it does. They call it mixed filters, something like that, where they will use FIR for some of the higher frequencies because that's not going to affect the delay so much and it doesn't require a ton of processing power. But then when it comes to the bass stuff, they're going to use like the traditional IIR filters that we're used to. But it's kind of an advanced topic. And we don't do phase related stuff in Magic Beans, so just know that. But we can use convolution filters, which is kind of cool. You know about convolution filters, right, Aaron? About using
how I used to do that for my video. I should start doing that again, actually.
Yeah, so like in Magic Beans, it'll actually export a wave file, right? And when you play it back, you hear like a little tick, right? But that little tick is showing like a frequency response, right? And that's all it needs to to make adjustments to the response of your system, and that in some ways that's actually one of the most accurate ways to import filters. Yeah. So yeah, we can support all that. What else we got?
What else do we got? What's been reviewed lately? Have y'all reviewed anything lately?
No.
I didn't think so.
Review and have a video ready to go. Yeah. I've reviewed a few things, but I don't have a video ready to go. I had some wireless. Oh, have you seen the world's smallest earbuds? I got some. Hold on,
dude. I wouldn't want those.
World's smallest.
I'd be scared that would get lost in my ear canal. Imagine going to the ER. I got this headphone stuck in my ear.
Look at this. It's smaller. Look at this. It's smaller. This is the case than my key fob for the gym, right? Or just my keys.
Are those made by Raycon?
Right. This is it. Ready?
Who makes it?
Look, JLab makes these.
JLab.
Oh, yeah, they do look small.
Dude, these things are tiny, and guess how much they are?
$99.
$30.
Oh, what? They sound okay.
$30. Hold on. I might as well do this now. You guys, for all of you guys, I know Aaron really. Oh, damn green screen!
Put it in front of you. Put it in front of you. Well, it won't work that way.
It won't work. I got to turn this off.
This is awesome.
There we go. All right, look. So this is a mint green one. Then there's a black one. They have this pink one. They got this. What is this one? Sage.
Those things look like vapes.
They're hilarious. And then this one is
because I know I used to have a shop.
I know.
They look like flavored vapes.
And so this, so you get this little. This is it right here. It's the case charges them, so you can totally, they'll last like a few weeks without charge because the case is charged and they're charged.
Why do you have so many of them?
Because they sent them. So they sent them to me to make a video. They sent me one. That's the one I opened, and I was like, hey, what'd be a good idea is just send me all of them so I can put all of them in the video and be like, yo, because apparently they their customers are buy multiple of the same ones in different colors to match their outfits and stuff. So it's like a big old thing. I don't know, man.
That's cool.
Wow.
Hey, I like those. I like the color options are kind of cool.
Yeah.
You can set up an Atmos setup. Just put one like right here. You know what I mean?
It's so funny. Like some of the people here in the office are like, "What are those? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm shooting a video about these headphones." And because they see me like with the anyway, walking around and stuff like that. And I was just like, "Oh," and then like I was like, "Oh, you know what? I can have them send me some more if you guys. I'll just use them for the video, and then you guys can have them when I'm done with them because I don't want them."
Yeah,
I got the better ones.
Curve. Yeah, I've heard about that on the Audio Unleashed podcast. They talk about this Knowles curve. Basically, yeah. They is it JLab who makes or Knowles who makes the little drivers?
Knowles armature driver, right?
Yeah.
And these are the ones that are on them. These are the most expensive ones. These are like their equivalent to the so I have the whole unboxing of this and me going through all of the damn it. Yeah. So I mean these there we go. It's hard to see.
The main thing I would look for in those, and I hope you test this out, is whether you can switch to different devices. Because that's what the AirPods does so well. Is you can just switch. You open up your iPad, it's like, all right, it starts working.
Yeah.
Close that thing up, it starts working with your MacBook.
I already did. So in the case for these, so these are the JLab Epic Lab Edition, right? So these are the ones. So in the middle, so you got the two headphones, and in the middle it comes with a USB-C dongle. So this is the only way to attach it to the computer. So that's the one thing that still sucks.
Well, so here's the thing. I know that most of them won't do the automatic switching, but I'm talking about like, all right, so let's say if you have different devices and you've already paired to it, right? Sometimes you have to forget it in the Bluetooth settings for it to be able to pair to another one. I'm like, that's a huge pain. Some of these have I don't know, they can connect to multiple things.
Right, like this Logitech. This Logitech keyboard, I can put 3 different computers on here, and it's just a press and hold, and then I can switch from one. So I actually do that. I have both my Macs, and I have like the old Mac for music on number 1, and number 3 is the new Mac. So it's like you can do it, but like but that was the first thing I tested. I was just like, oh, can I go back and forth? And it's not as easy as with the AirPods Pro. Yeah. Now, however, this does come with the squishy ear tips. The foam ones.
Yeah, your Comply ones.
Yeah. So well, the JLab version of it, and then if you were to buy those, so these are $200 as opposed to the $250 of the AirPods Pro. And then if you bought the Comply tips, now you're at $275. So they're $275 versus $200. And as far as the sound is concerned, man, you should have seen. You can do a custom. I can't wait for you to see this custom EQ curve I put on.
Oh, okay.
Because I was just messing around with it. I was like, oh, this sounds like garbage. What's going on?
Hey, real quick shout out. So Electron Ash, he says he's never used Apple computers. This is the guy who, like, in our group is showing us that he's building his own AVR. It's so ridiculous. How do you do that? So remember last time I was mentioning that we have these dudes that are super smart that just for some reason, like, hey, you know what? I think I can build an AVR. Like,
that's crazy.
What? How?
I love that in the I love that in the
I don't even know how to fix my AVR. Rather, building one from scratch is just crazy.
Yeah.
Electron Ash, you're awesome.
Yeah, dude. I think what's great about the Spatial Audio Calibration Toolkit Discord is that there's people in there way smarter than me. And I was just like, how the hell did this happen? And this is awesome. People are like asking all these questions. I'm like, damn, thank God I don't have to answer that. I have no. Hey, blue meters, huh, buddy?
You like that?
Oh, that's a good look. That's a good look.
People got a super chat. House?
Pat Beasley, thank you for the $10 super chat.
Cool.
Thank you. So he says, just a thanks for y'all's willingness to take on all that happens behind the scenes in order for me and likely others to enjoy the stories y'all share. Nice to see science and art thriving in this hobby. Yeah, man.
Hey.
Thank you. You know, I always say that I'm not the best YouTube reviewer because I don't do lots of reviews. You know, it just takes a lot of time, and it's just not my thing. But we do things behind the scenes, like stuff that we don't actually like post all the time, right? Like we're all actually finding things out. Like we talk to guys like this, like Phil Jones.
Phil Jones, all the way from Tokyo. What's up?
Well, surprise!
What's up? I'm in
Again,
my phone
thank
was
you.
little. I need to clean my lens here. How are you guys?
Man, it looks like you're in looks Japanese over there with the glow. You got that soft glow, Phil.
I'm actually in Shirakawa with the gang. So for example, this is Yuki. He is one of the sound masters for Denon. So this is kind of the gang that we always hang out at, and he's actually doing sound demonstrations on some of the cool products that we're actually I'm over here to see. So I know you guys have heard about the new M1, right?
Yeah, we were talking about it last time.
Okay, yeah. So the M1 is a lot of times when people see that product, they think of it as a multi-zone amplifier, but these guys, it's built in Japan, and the goal of that product is to be a compact hi-fi system. So this gentleman and his engineering team have been working hard to build that product. Actually, there's a couple other guys back here. You may recognize this guy right here. This is Yamada-san. So I'm sure you remember who's in charge of our product development for Denon and Marantz AVRs. So we're kind of like hanging out in the space. So this is kind of like a collection of some classic pieces that you cannot have. So
you know what I like
available
in other countries is they have the silver face that I like that look.
Oh, you like the silver face stuff?
Yeah, a lot of times not available here, right?
Yeah, some of this gold stuff is actually pretty slick. So if you look at, like some of these pieces that they have down this hot, this is like things you would kill to have. So
yeah. So
who do I kill?
Did you see our last podcast? Is that why you hit us up? Why you hit up Chana? Because you saw our last podcast. You're like, they're not saying nice things right now.
No, Chana, what were you? Are you eating, dude?
Yes.
Oh man,
he's always eating. We keep it real.
I'm always eating on the podcast, bro. I'm busy, dude. There's so many things happening. I can't get food in before the show.
So what did I know that you had saw the M1? What were you thinking about it, and what were you? I know there was some questions about it. Correct?
Well, we're commenting, right? So we start off the video saying, we don't know this thing. I don't have it in front of me. Let's take a look at it together. And, we're criticizing because we're saying, man, that thing's $1,000. Dang. You know what I mean? That's a lot.
Well, the best way to think of it is we've actually done some A/B testing versus some competitors. And I will tell you, if you do that comparison, you'll see why it commands a premium. And the goal is to be a compact hi-fi piece. Now now of course if you step up something like a Model 40 or something like that, there is an improvement. But if you're looking for a compact hi-fi piece, this is a great solution. So a lot of the quality that you would see in a Marantz AVR or Marantz hi-fi piece for someone that is compact. So if you're someone looking for a good 100-watt per channel system to run like maybe a 600 series Bowers and
internals there. Let's see that. What is that back there?
Yeah, this is actually the internals here. Actually, let me.
That's kind of cool. Let's see that.
Let me switch my camera around. Actually, why don't you drive? Here, how do you do this? I'm gonna give it to Frederick, who's my cameraman.
Okay.
Hey guys.
All right. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what up? We got to see the whole crew. Look at this.
Yeah. We
from Japan, ladies and gentlemen. This is why you tune into the Daily HiFi podcast.
Hey, do you know Aaron? You know Phil? You guys met before?
I don't think we've met before. Hey, Phil, how you doing?
You know Aaron or what?
So
yes, I don't think he can hear us.
Actually, so you have some of the pieces, right? So this piece was engineered and developed in Shirakawa, and is sound tuned like all other Marantz hi-fi products. So the goal is, if you have someone that's looking for a sound system, but maybe they don't want to have a lot of space, and maybe they don't have multiple analog inputs. They just maybe want to be do multi-zone high res and maybe something like eARC, because there's an eARC input on it. This is a great solution. Take this, pair it with a pair of 600 series speakers.
Mm-hmm.
We've actually played this on a pair of 702s, and you'll be amazed at the actual performance of it. So yes, it does have a Helios board built in and all of that, but it's designed to go beyond what your normal hi-fi, what your normal multi-zone piece is.
Phil, you love Helios though. So when I go over there, you're always about Helios and you got it all set up, and I'm critical because I'm like, man, how come it's not supporting I want YouTube music, right? I use Qobuz, right? So can I use those? What's up?
Yeah. The best way I can explain it is the engineering team is looking at ways, like Yamada-san and the whole team is looking at ways to add features to improve the performance of Helios. But at the same time, it's like a checklist of things that they want to do. And I will tell you, if you look at it, there's going to be more. Example, last year we did U32, which meant there's been 32 different versions of it. Now we're going to, I think, U33, which does Spotify Hi-Fi and a few other pieces. So a lot of those requests are coming. It's just you have to be patient.
Well, you can't blame me, right? We're friends, Phil. Right? We're friends. You can't blame me for being like, I can't use this because I can't play the streaming apps that I particularly use, right? So I think that's fair.
You can AirPlay it, but I know
it could be great, but if I can't use it, it was that's all. So there's some this goes both ways, right, Phil? So you get to talk about the M1, but I would like to offer some feedback on your end, right? Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah.
You're there in Japan, like this is how we do, right?
Yeah. But I will tell you that a lot of the stuff that you're interested in, will it be appearing? I just can't tell you when because I have my job. But I will tell you that we're continuing to evolve. But I think if you guys have the opportunity to test one of these pieces and you let me know, I'll get you a sample. I think you'll be incredibly impressed, and treat it like it's a nice little hi-fi piece, because that's what it's designed to be. Oh, and by the way, it does.
I think you should send one to Aaron, because he has like testing stuff that can actually, he can figure stuff out. For me, I'm just going to be looking at Helios, like, does it play my streaming app? Yes or no? So Aaron is the man when it comes to this stuff now. He's doing more of that, and I think it's very fascinating the way he even does it. Because he reviewed this. So this is the one that we are talking about last time, right? We are talking about the Wii Amp. You guys have seen the Wii Amp, right?
The Wii Amp?
WIIM.
I don't know if I believe that.
Huh? Hey, this is the Daily HiFi podcast, man. So, you know what I mean? If this was, I'll be nicer if we,
Hey, I've actually got a couple questions for Phil while we got him. Because, hey, Phil, I've never met you, but it's nice to meet you. So now let me jump in here before I don't have a chance to ask you. One, I would legitimately like you to come on sometime and explain the whole process of how these amplifiers and electronic pieces are tuned. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm a critic. So that's number one. I honestly would be interested. Number two, and it's a double. Polk R700, I'm asked all the time, and then the Bowers and Wilkins 801D4. Just in case you'd be interested in sending some speakers out my way. All right, now I'm done. I'm done. I've tried to get the R700s, but I was sent the R500s, but the R700s I don't get any feedback on anymore.
Okay, so you're looking for the larger ones. Well, when I get back, you email me.
I'll get your information from these guys. See,
Aaron, why not the L600? Not interested in that? I think that was one of the coolest ones I've seen. So I'll say some nice stuff too. Those L600s, I was very impressed with what they did, and I feel like I like that. I thought that was cool, and I would be interested in what that does. But if you're not interested in reviewing that,
well, hold on. Which ones are those? Sorry, see, I'm just hijacking this thing.
They're the ones with SDA.
Yeah, we can do this some other time. But I wanted to put you on the spot. I want the flagship B&W speakers one of these days. I got to know for it. All right, so now we can talk about Marantz again. Sorry.
Okay, so let's go back and talk about the Soundmaster thing. Now, there's two parts. The things, how it tests and how it sounds, right?
Yes.
And you could look at two pieces of electronics that test the same. but for some reason they sound different. And we do these types of tests all the time, correct? We do like a Marantz and a Denon, but when you play them, they have a different tonality. So how do you do that? Is just picking parts to try to get the tone you're looking for?
Yeah. We try the ingredients and the products, and we know the differentiation, the characteristic. We check and we build in each brand, and we can make the differentiation.
Yeah, so they have like a bunch of, if you come here, there's the sound rooms here, and then each of the sound masters have their own rooms in Kawasaki. There's one for Marantz and there's one for Denon. And there is a sonic signature when it comes to an AVR. Of course, AVR is supposed to get out of the way of the music, but they do kind of add a little bit of soul to the sound. And I'm sorry, if you compare a Marantz to a Denon to a brand A, B, or C, even if they measure the same, they don't sound the same. So the goal is a sound that people have grown to love when it comes to Marantz. A lot of times people say it's more of a smoother, more musical sound. So the goal is, as you build these products, something like an M1, that you still maintain that, because you're talking about this is a digital amp, right? But at the same time, Marantz has made tons of Class A, tons of Class D material, and these amplifiers have different sonic characteristics. So the goal is, how do you
does that have HDAM still? Because I heard it mentioned, but I couldn't verify whether that was true or not on the website. HDAM, if that's what it's called, HDAM. I don't know.
Yeah, hyperdynamic amplifier module.
Okay.
So
does this one have that or not?
This piece utilizes what's called what do you call it? It's Marantz musical filtering. The HDAM requires more components, so that's normally found on the bigger AVRs or the bigger hi-fi pieces, and those can be used for a variety of different circuits, from headphone amplifiers to phono stages to preamp stages. The goal is, instead of buying pieces off the shelf, they can actually build them to get the tonality they look for. It's almost like being a chef and being able to pick every little minor ingredient to get exactly the meal you're looking for. It costs more money, takes more time, but you get a much better realism of what Marantz sound is. Of course, at this price point at $1,000, it would be difficult to give you 100 watts per channel by 2 with 20 to 20 with very low distortion, plus ER, plus HEOS, and utilize full HDAM circuitry at $1,000. So that's one of the reasons why you may want to move up into something like a Model 40, because now maybe the headphone amplifier, the phono stages, and all of those other things, and that's one of the reasons why you would step up. But for a person looking for a pair of bookshelves or a $1,000 pair of floor standing speakers, this is a great option if you don't want to have all of those extra inputs. So, but I think you guys would be quite pleased with this. We ran this thing on a bunch of different high-end speakers, and if you compare this one, I challenge you to compare this one to any other streaming capable amplifier. This one is noticeable. So Chana, you may not have your service on it, but if you have played a dang thing on Tidal, I think you'll like it a lot better on here.
Okay, all right. Okay,
let's you know what? Hey, Phil, are we friends or what? Are we friends?
I love you, man. You think I'm cool?
I love you too, man. That's what I told you on the phone. I said I'll always support Phil Jones. Right? No matter what.
I gotta leave because I get to go see them actually manufacturing this piece. But I wanted to actually call in and this is what's up from Japan.
This is my one criticism I gotta say, Phil. What's up with we need some DSP capabilities. So if you have this advanced piece of technology and it's made for these 2-channel guys, they should, I need some magic beans on that.
Talking about like Odyssey or DSP processing in hi-fi pieces like you find in the 2-channel piece. I mean, in the surround.
Just some sort of way to DSP it, right? I'm sure
a little more control than basic treble, EQ, right? A little bit more control than these basic treble.
All right.
And,
I want magic beans on that thing, Phil.
Yeah,
That's why.
I you know, my biggest thing with Marantz is, man, I want to see something on a display that is like bigger than the size of a quarter. You know, like that's me. I want something. I want
You're
like
getting real feedback, right? This is real feedback.
The biggest challenges
You know,
with the display though is there's so much data, and most people looking at like an AV. I can see it on the hi-fi piece where there's not a video source, a video display connected to it. But the problem is when you look at a multi-channel piece, there's just so much data that you're trying to pull off of it, and most of those connected to a TV. Or you could grab your phone and bring up the web UI and see everything.
yeah, I mean, the Ever Solo people just hit me up to review their little thing that's just like that in the same-ish price range, 160 or 800, 860 or something like that. So, you know, it's just got a nice little screen. I have the $5,000 absolutely ridiculously overpriced Hi-Fi Rose streamer. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty sexy, man. 8-inch touchscreen OLED thing. Oh man.
So the Hi-Fi Rose thing, I don't get it, right? Because I'm not sitting right next to it. That's my big.
Oh, dude, it's making me
like,
get
why do I
exercise.
care if it has a touchscreen on it? Like, and
I-
I'm sure it
I
sounds
walk
great
up,
and all that stuff.
use it.
Well, you
walk up
guys are
and
gonna
use it.
fight. I gotta go.
Yeah, no.
I
Hey,
gotta
we
go.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Hey Phil,
Okay,
hey Phil,
I just want
hey
to-
Phil, you
when I
like
get
magic
back,
beans or what? You like magic beans or what?
Oh, I'm actually going to show them some of your trickery. The magic beans is like a target curve generator for Odyssey, and or Durac. And then there's also these gentlemen put together a Testis that allows you to go for Dolby Atmos that I think you guys would really like to see. So I'm going to actually share some of those files with them while I'm here.
Yes.
I think that Chana and Joe, I think they'll really
Very
love
cool.
that piece.
I appreciate
right.
you, Phil. Thank
Hey,
you.
no, sorry. One quick question. I got one. David Beckham. Can you introduce me to him?
As soon as I meet him, I'll hook
All
you
right.
up.
All right.
Hey, have fun over there, Phil.
Have
See you guys
fun.
later.
Take care.
See y'all. Nice to meet you.
See you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Bye-bye.
See ya. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good. It's kind of spontaneous. That was cool. You know, Phil, you know, that's what I keep telling people. When you're friends with somebody, you know, you can.
It's not even
you
talking
can
trash.
just
Just being
you know,
real.
you gotta keep it real, and that's what we do here. You know what I mean? You have to keep it real. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually going, like, he called me on Sunday and he's like, I'm about to jump on a plane to Japan. I heard you guys talking about the M1. Can I jump on the show? I'm like, yeah, from Japan? Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
He invited us there. So I want to go here. I want to go witness the whole master tuning thing, right? I'm still
Oh, yeah.
cynical. And I'm like, all right, if it sounds different enough, you got to be able to measure it with something. Maybe it's outside of the scope of what we measure now. No pun
Oh, I
intended.
know. Measure it with your ear.
I want to do that. Dude, I've got an ABX comparator. He can send one my way.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to do legitimately true blind testing with it. But
Yeah.
I am going to email him because I'm going to be like, dude,
I'm sure
those-
he's down.
I want those Bowers and Wilkins 801.
Hey, dude, don't show his email, bro.
I don't have his email. This is my
Oh.
notes. See,
Oh, okay.
Don't show his email. You can probably just look that up.
Bowers and
Um,
R7.
Well, I'll ask him. I'm gonna be in San Diego next Wednesday, so
Yeah.
I'll hit him up.
You know, I think the things that we were saying before is still, you know, a real thing. Like I do want it to have DSP, right?
Yeah.
And I say those things because I want them to make a cool product. I'm not hating on them. It's like I want you guys to make the coolest possible product and sell a bunch of them, right? But I can't say, hey, this is something that I would want because I want DSP, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that I'm putting it out there. Like this is what I'm looking for specifically. But yeah, Phil's awesome. Phil's an awesome dude.
He's pretty fantastic as far as like he knows a whole lot of stuff. Dude, don't get him started about HDMI.
You guys just got Phil in trouble with all the questions. I didn't, you know, this is not a promo spot. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is not what we do here. Is we're just hanging out. We're just hanging out, talking.
having
know,
fun.
I've never talked to him before. I've never seen him personally like that. So I appreciated that because then I was able to be like, yo, I can't get anybody to send me these speakers.
Right.
Yeah, no, dude. I'm like, yo, Phil, I'm going to San Diego to hang out and watch my friends play in a band, play some music. He's like, yeah, do you want to shoot some content? I'm like, no, So you want to come hang out with me? He's like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna come hang out. I'm like, all right, cool. So you know, he's pretty awesome. I'm sure we're gonna talk shop, but at the end of the day, you know, I did, you know, I was thinking about the M1 the other day. I was laying in bed, you know, thinking about it. Sexy piece of gear. It's pretty sexy looking. Now I get that they are finally reaching, like, I get it from a standpoint, like, I know that, like, you know, after putting out this product, more people that bought the toolkit want more from us. They want something else to buy, right? Like, you know, so in the same aspect, if you're a Marantz lover, you love Marantz, you're like Joe, you had the Marantz something 2200 or whatever from back in the day, and now they finally made a streamer, you're going to go buy it, right? You're going to go buy it, you know? And so I don't, you know, I think, you know, they're probably just making it for their fan base. If they get some new, you know, new customers because of it, maybe not. It all depends. You have something like the Wii Amp that's like $350. The Ever Solo that they're trying to like send over to me is like $850. Then you got Hi-Fi Rose, which is thousands. You know, so there's a market for each segment, and people are going to buy what they're going to buy, and they're going to like because they like a certain thing. If you like Marantz, you're in love with Marantz, you're going to buy the Marantz M1, right? You're not even going to look at the Wii Amp or the Ultra or the Ever Solo. You're going to get the Marantz because you like tiny display or no display at all. So
all I'm saying is I want people to come out with the coolest, best products. And if Weem can constantly improve their thing with updates, you know, a big company like Massimo, Sound United, whatever, you know, I kind of expect the same thing. And what are we doing here if we're not kind of speaking up on behalf of the customer, right?
Yeah.
I'm not doing my job then, right? If I know them and I'm not telling them, hey, people want this, they want DSP, they want to be able to stream any, you know, the you know, different streaming services that this hasn't supported in a long time, then what are we doing, right?
Yeah.
I'm not here to just, I'm not a marketing arm for companies, right? If anything, I'm doing a service for you guys out there, but also to them. And I hope they realize that, because it's only a disservice if you don't plan on changing anything. If you have this product and you just want to push it out and they're like, okay, it's done, right? No improvements from here on out. Okay, well, he's probably not going to like what I have to say. But if it's like something where, you know what? Hey, that's true. People do want that. Oh yeah, we can do DSP. Let's do that too. Okay, then do it. You'll probably sell more, right? So I think that's how it works. And whether they want to listen, that's up to them. You know, that's up to them to listen to the feedback. But I'm not saying it. It's not coming from a place of, you know, it's not coming from a bad place. It's coming from a place of like, if you tell your friend, you want to tell your friends, you want them to succeed. And if there's something that they can do better, you want to try to tell them, hey, do this better, right?
Yeah. I told Aaron the other day, I was like,
other way aside from that.
I told Aaron, look, he's already wincing. I told Aaron the other day, well, yo, back the camera off, man. It looked like it was popping out of the TV in that one video. And I'm like, whoa, dude, I'm in bed. Like, damn,
I can't do anything about it.
Close to me while I'm in bed watching this video.
Further away.
Like, I can't. There you go.
Hey guys.
It's one of those things. I know David Solomon pretty well. He and I are always hanging out at the shows randomly. And he was like, Chana, how come you have never interviewed me? I'm like, look, David, we're friends.
We have.
We're homies. Huh?
We have.
Well, no, but like at the show, not on Hi-Fi, because that's where we met on Hi-Fi Summit stuff. And so I was like, David, I got to keep it real with my audience. So
Keeps it real.
yeah, so I'm gonna ask you two things, and since we're friends, I'll tell you right now what those two things are, and then when we interview you, just have an answer. I don't care. You know, we can still be friends and stuff. And I said, why don't you have Atmos support? And why does your next song or recommendation algorithm suck? I go from EDM to singer-songwriter. I don't want to do that. And he's like, Chana, why do you want to talk about the two things we do bad? It's like, because that's what I want to know, and I am a representative of my viewers, and my viewers would want to know that too. And he's like, okay, so that's it, dude. I don't care what he has to say. You know, I'm just gonna ask him a question. Just have an answer ready. Oh, we're working on it. He did say that they are working on Atmos support, and it's coming. But
Reverend says Joe needs a hat to put on every time he's chilling. It says Joe and Cell. That's right. Hey, look.
That's pretty good.
They're in Japan, right? They're probably looking to promote this thing, right? I don't know if they're going around and promoting, you know, getting the word out about their product. I also have a product, right? So it's only fair game. Is this Daily Hi-Fi? Is that what's on my hat? This is our podcast, right? So I think it's fair, right? I took a trip over there to their offices to show them. And, you know, I'm very curious to hear what he thought about it, right? And to share it with you guys, because it's one thing for me to say, hey, it sounded awesome. Another thing for Phil Jones and those guys to say it. And so I think it's fair, right? It's fair. I get to talk about my stuff. They can talk about their stuff. He could have said, hey, you know what? That was cool, Joe, but, you know, it kind of sucked, bro. Like, I didn't really like the calibration. And it would have been, that's what it is, right? So it's fair game. Yeah, it says it's fair. Fair. All right. Can I talk about this thing real quick?
What are we talking about? Oh, okay. We'll get to the
what is it?
Guard comments in a little bit.
We found out about how Atmos pans stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead, take a nap, Aaron.
You can take it.
I was gonna say my limit is 9:15 tonight. So
okay, all right. We showed this last time, right? We showed this diagram.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah, I remember that.
And what this was just showing, this was
Aaron's like, yeah, you're showing the basketball court.
A guy, Jorix, actually connected his Denon 60X 6800H, and he wanted to see the test tone, you know, using test tones in our toolkit, and he wanted to see what was happening in the height channels with different configurations, right? And electrically, so he's not doing it acoustically. He's not measuring speakers. He's measuring the output from the preamps. And what he found was, depending on whether you have it set up for front height or top, right? So you can see, you know, when you have speakers up there, you can set it to height or tops, right? And depending on how you have it set up, it's going to pan differently, right? And I don't know if anybody's even interested in this, but shoot, I wanted him to be on here to explain it because it's pretty intense. But I think the easiest way would kind of be just to show this. And you know how we have that ongoing debate? Shauna says, hey, you should put the speakers front, you know, on wall above you so that when a sound pans up, it pans straight up. That's true, right? Now you have other people, right? YouTubers, I think Anthony Grimani also, who I talked to earlier today. He says, no, you should use height speakers, so you know that's where they're supposed to be. And I'm kind of I'm thinking that both are right. Both can be right. And it sounds silly. I'm not trying to be politically correct, but they both can be right, and I'll show you why. So
what is it? No, you got to say it right, Joe.
What? Let me show you. Okay, so this is logic, right? And if I play some pink noise on loop here, you can see that the left channel is fully active, right? And then if I pan straight up, this is what we were saying. Okay, so if you pan straight up, now the left top speaker is fully active, right? But look what happens if you start moving this around here. Do any of the other speakers start panning yet?
No.
Right? It's not until you get here, 25% about, 25%.
Yeah.
Where it starts to activate, right? Also the same this way too. So right there, it'll start to activate. But over here, this is all dead space, right? This is a dead zone. This doesn't do anything.
So until you get to about 25%, there's no change.
Yeah,
There's
into
no
the
change.
room.
No gradual change. Okay.
Into the room.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not until you from here to here, there's panning, right?
Yeah.
From here to here, blank, here to here, there's panning, here to here, it's blank, you know? Or not blank, but it's the same as being here.
It's not exchanging hands with the other speaker, so to speak.
Right. So no panning is actually happening. No, what's crazy though is if on the ear level, it does change. Right. So
Right.
the moment I start moving from here, watch. Boom, right away.
Yeah.
So the way that the heights work is not exactly the same as the ear level, right? Heights actually only work from here, around here, right? So what does that mean? That means that what Chana's saying it does say is true. If you want a sound that moves straight up, you do have to have a speaker that's directly above you. Because if you have a speaker up here, then it'll move like that, right? Because that's where the speaker is. You know, but when other people say, hey, this is the optimal location, then that is also kind of true.
True. Yeah.
Right? Because I can say conversely, if I move straight up here, so this is 25%, right? Somewhere around here. If I move straight up and somebody has this set up with top speakers in those locations, if I move straight up here, boom, right? That should sound like if you have the speaker right here in your location, in your theater, it'll sound like it moves straight up from here to here, right?
Right. Yeah.
But if you have your speaker over here, what ends up happening instead of moving straight up, it's the opposite of the problem that you have with it, is it, instead of going straight up, it actually goes up and out in your room, right? And the real confusing thing about this is it doesn't correspond with their recommended speaker layouts, you know. So I kind of drew some here. I don't know if this is even helpful, but I kind of like this is actually the area that you can really pan to.
Trapezoid.
Yeah, this is really the shape of it, you know. But it's confusing because in the panner it doesn't look like this. It doesn't block it off, right? So that's one of the things. I'm also confused about the fact that the ear level does work in this way where if you pan all the way to the corner, that's 45 degrees, you know, whatever, all the way to the left. It looks like 45 degrees on this panner, but if you want to activate your left speaker fully, that's where it should be on this panner, right? But your speaker is probably at 30 degrees, right? Because people recommend 30 degrees from zero, from the center, 30 degrees out. But this is not 30 degrees, which means that the ear level also doesn't correspond. Right?
Change that over to the other panner. That
Okay,
has a degree. So go down to where it says object. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So it has angle right there on the left. Set it to 30 or move it to 30. Okay, now hit play and look at the level meter.
Yeah, 30 degrees is not just right. It has some left channel in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now once
It's
you go
not
to
until I move it to 45. Well, actually, hold on a second. What's happening here?
This is a weird one.
Oh, did you have elevation hook?
Maybe. Wait, which is this? This is the binaural panner. That's why you need the surround panner.
Oh, sorry.
Too many damn panners. Just go to stereo out. Stereo out. Output surround. There you go.
There we go. It looked
there
similar.
Yeah, look, they all look the damn same.
Okay, here's 30 degrees. 30 degrees. So it activates right and center.
Yep.
If I go all the way to 45 degrees, now it's only right. The problem is your speaker is probably not there. And that's confusing. I'm not saying that, you know, this is a huge issue. It's just confusing to people, right? So that's some of the stuff that we're finding out. The other thing that might be interesting to people is let's see if I can show this here. When you play Atmos over a 5.1 point whatever, right? A 5-channel ear level system, what do you expect to happen to the surrounds? Right? Let me take this off the screen real quick. What do you expect to happen? What do you expect to happen if you only have surround speakers? You don't have rear surrounds, right?
Okay.
Something plays out of
Now,
the.
I mean, I have that in the bedroom. I have 5 ear level speakers, but those surround speakers are flanking me. Is that where they're supposed to go?
Close enough, right?
I mean, they're at 90 degrees, so that's where they are. What do I expect to happen?
You play some Atmos content, and something's supposed to go to the rear surround, from surround to rear surround. Let's say
it stays in the same
rear surround. What happens?
It stays in the same speaker. That surround speaker is doing double duty. The surround left, let's say, and the surround back left.
Right,
it's double duty.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So
what did I win?
Get folded down into the surrounds.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what happens on? I think he was saying on. I think it was Anthem. Maybe it was Anthem. One of the other ones. It does it differently. It'll say you don't have rear surrounds. Your surrounds are now your rear surrounds, and anything that would normally come out of surround is going to be phantom imaged.
Yeah,
that's different.
That is different. That was that issue that guy kept talking about that had the Sony AVR. That was the problem.
That's right.
And he kept playing our tracks, and he's like, "Why is this coming out of? Why is this being phantom imaged instead of just being in the surround?" And so, I guess the big question is, where is that sound supposed to go?
I kind of like the way that Denon and Marantz do it, because I don't want the entire stage to be moved forward, because that means that my main listening positions, I got to move forward now.
Now forward. I would agree with that. I think, like when that guy was having that problem with the Sony, I was just like, man, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what you can do about it. And it was just an update he had to do, because it's not supposed to act that way. Technically, your surround speakers in a 5 ear level speaker situation should be behind you, technically. So that in effect, that should be, you should be getting all the surround back and the surround information. Right.
So I was asking Jorix, the guy who was finding a lot of this stuff out, I was asking him, so what's actionable for people? Because that's cool and all, but what does this mean for people? And for the ear level stuff that we're talking about with the 5 ear levels, he said it might be worthwhile to try on a Denon or Marantz product. If they're folding down the rear and the surrounds together, your height should kind of act in the same way. So if you're right back up against the wall, right, and you can't put rear surrounds, but then you have 4 height speakers, the recommendation might be front height, right? And instead of rear height, set them up as top middle.
Yeah.
Because what that'll do is it'll also do the same thing as your ear level speakers, where, you know, anything that would have been in the top rear,
it's playing through the top middle. Yeah.
Yeah. So it shares it. And so at least you have some cohesion between what's happening in the heights versus in the ear level. So that's one actionable thing that you can do.
You know why, Joe? You know why?
Why?
It's exactly what I said. We're mimicking the height layout with our ear level layout. Same thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha, bitch. Ah.
So that's an actionable thing. As far as the heights, I think a lot of people ask, should I set up my speakers so we're using the height designation or the top designation? And I think the easiest answer would be set them up as close to your actual physical locations, right? So if you have them at 45 degrees above you, you know, you have some in ceilings, set them up like that. Don't try to trick the system to do something it's not. You know, they have these things built in so that it's the best for most people, you know? So I don't think you'd get any more out of it, aside from that last trick that we said, you know, setting up as top middle.
Top middle, yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions about that? Because it's
there was something about Hey, Mike Ortiz says on the M Wave podcast Sunday, Jonathan mentioned that he preferred 4 height speakers over 6 height speakers. He made the same complaints you guys had mentioned in the past. Okay. About 4 height speakers, I guess. So, I would go with 6 if you can.
Yeah.
But
one more thing I want to add about this, just because he did a lot of work on this, so I want to make sure to say as much of it as possible.
Let's make sure we give an applause for Jorix, everybody.
Yes. Yeah. And so if you have it set up as front and rear height, right? Front and rear height, then it starts to pan right away, from the front all the way to the back. But it also still has that padding on the left and right of 25%. So if you see an object move from left to right, regardless of how you have it set up, it's still not going to move from left to right until it hits that 25% point. Right? That's if you have front and rear height. If you have tops, then it acts the same way, except it will not start moving. It won't start panning until 25% going front to back. Yeah. So that's it. Hopefully that confused all of you guys as much as I am confused, because this is all very confusing. We're trying to figure out stuff, and it's almost like they should be providing this stuff for people, right?
Yeah. Even Reverend Slim said that Dolby's the one making this thing confusing, because there's just too much. And at least we're making some headway in the whole situation. And as long as I think if the only way it'll get better is if mixers are hip to all of this, right?
I feel bad for the mixers. I feel bad for the mixers because do they know all this stuff? Is somebody out there telling them these things? Because we had to figure it out. So maybe we're not special enough to we're not privy to this information. But I've seen people doing this sort of stuff. Let's see. I see them doing this sort of thing. Right? We see the mixes that people do. Right?
Yeah.
So you'll see this sort of thing. They're moving it like this. It's all the way up, right? 100% max. Again, all the stuff that I said is relevant when height is at 100%. When it's like somewhere around here, it acts differently because it's using the ear level speakers.
Mm-hmm.
But we've seen this before, right, Shauna? You go and they're kind of doing this whole thing. Boom, they're doing this. They're doing like these little movements here.
Movies and all that kind of stuff.
They're doing this whole thing. They don't know. This is not doing anything in a home mix. This whole thing, all this movement here, does nothing. That's just going to stay still.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's important to know.
Anyway. Definitely. Hey, bring that up real quick.
Yeah.
Or did you close it?
I got it.
If any Atmos mixer happens to be watching, go to the right on the the other one, the renderer. Go to the right and click the little buttons on the right. Keep going right. All the way right. Same where you were on monitoring for that thing. And then click on down mix and trim. And then click on 5. Yeah, 5. All of those. Change that to not automatic. Manual. And here, just do this so people can see. Turn all those to 0. Click and drag it all the way to the right. Boom, boom. This needs to be set up like that for it to properly image in between stuff like front wides going into a 5 ear level speaker system and anything else. This is what needs to happen. Those trim and down mix settings need to be set properly, and they are set incorrectly by default. So there you go. I learned that from Mr. Nick Reeves.
Very cool.
You got to do that with everything 5 ear level speaker.
I'm hoping these guys correct me if I said something wrong, because there was a lot. And I was just like, dude, I hope I get this right. This is not my research, right? Let's see. Any corrections here?
But it does. He said it would always apply to 25% clamping horizontally to the heights but the 25% front to back was dependent on the AVR setting. Oh,
That makes it even more confusing.
oh yeah, true. Because he said that if you have it to front height, middle height, rear height, it uses the whole square, whereas front, the in-ceiling version, it's brought in closer.
Okay, so let me just ask, Reverend Slim, did I get everything right or did I say anything wrong? If I said something wrong, correct me here and I'll put it up. I think basically Atmos really is expecting those speakers to be like close to you here, right? My issue is if you're a mixer and you see this panner and you want to move it straight up and you think that it can because it looks like you can, then there's a disconnect, right? Because truly what the panner should show is that you cannot do that, right? It's impossible to do that. You have to move diagonally up and towards you. But if it's, the director's intent or, artist's intent, if the artist looks at this and says, okay, I want the sound to move straight up, there's a disconnect because that's what they want it to do, right? But it doesn't show here.
I see Aaron wants this conversation to be over. Like he's about to fall asleep.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm about to have to jump off anyway, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, here, before you do that,
Okay.
since we were having so much fun with the green screen,
Yeah.
my brothers and my nieces came by and we did this video. This is my brother. Yeah, so this is the green screen. And then
Good.
And then here's me acting out my part.
Why do you have like a bank robber eye mask thing on?
Because we're all criminals. There's my niece. She wrote this story about we're 4 suspects, and then their other uncle has to guess with all the clues who is who did the murder. It's a murder mystery.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like
so they're like, can we use the
Let me see the one of yours again.
Oh, okay.
You want to screenshot it and hold it against them?
Yeah.
Be careful.
I gotta find it. Oh, I lost it. I don't know where it is.
Oh yeah, sure.
I got it. There it is.
There it is. The Hamburglar.
You look just like him, man.
Yeah, my name was my character's name was Captain Chaos.
Captain Chaos.
Sounds
You
about
need to
right.
get
Get me out of
Dennis
here.
Berger to pronounce
Oh, FOMO's in here. What up, FOMO? Hey, FOMO got a new monitor. He got that BV. He got a $30,000 monitor. He's like you, Aaron, with the Clipple, but he got a monitor. What did he say? What did you say in our that shit's expensive, bro? But what did he say in our chat here? He said something about he can now tell how many nits a certain movie maxes out at. What he just said. The bright dream sequence in Batman versus Superman hard capped at 600 nits. What else? Where's the other one? Where's it at, FOMO? Crimes of so the dragon scene in Crimes of Grindelwald is hard capped at 1600 nits in those flashbang parts of the scene. Crazy. So he can tell all that with this monitor.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, pretty cool. I don't know if it's worth the investment, but
I mean,
cool.
if he spent it, I'm sure he thinks it is. So
Yeah.
I know his videos get a lot of views.
Yeah, you're
a lot of
crazy,
them
FOMO.
Be recommended. All right. Well, I'm gonna head out.
All right. See you, man.
I will catch y'all maybe next week.
Okay. Enjoy your Macintosh.
Oh yeah, that's right. I will. I'm gonna go sit by this fire real fast. This fire.
Yeah, warm up a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a little bit more toasty.
All right.
So,
Any
I'll see y'all later.
upcoming reviews to look forward to?
No, nothing.
Something that's coming out on Patreon. You want to pimp out your Patreon at all? No.
Oh, Patreon. Yeah, let's show my Patreon. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on my part for my Clipple. They haven't sent me the bill for it yet, so that's probably gonna take a week or 2 weeks to get here.
I don't like to spend money, but Aaron's Patreon is worth it, so go check him out. Yeah. Take care, bro.
All right, man. We'll talk to y'all later.
See ya.
Peace.
I'm gonna hang out for a little bit and see what else. We have a few starred comments here. What do we got?
Let's see. Wendell, considering changing Emotiva 5-channel amp to OSD 5200A. Good choice. I mean,
I don't measure them. I just know that I like them. I like the OSD stuff. Never reviewed an Emotiva one, but totally happy. I have the HTA 7200 right now. I'm just happy. The thing has dual toroidal transformers. Don't know if it's needed, but it's heavy and it just seems cool. I like the turn on sequence. You know, you turn it on and you hear all the relays.
Yeah,
Sounds
I saw
awesome.
that video. That was pretty cool. Honestly, if you have a if noise floor is an issue, maybe try it out. But at the end of the day, an amp is an amp is an amp. As long as it's not doing while it's like in a quiet scene, you probably don't need to spend the money to change it out, unless you really just like the look of it and want it, or like you want the relays to go click 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 when you turn it on. Go for it. Otherwise, I don't know.
All right. It was
Joe or
Aaron.
Eric. Yes. Good thing we didn't put this up here. Can you do a review of the Arendel Atmos speakers, the big ones? I want to know how they perform as high speakers for Dolby Atmos. We're going to use them on the weekend, right?
So I have them, and what I can tell you right now is we're going to use them as surrounds, right? Just because I don't have a bunch of bookshelves, but they are equal in performance to like the bookshelf S. I mean, they probably don't have as much bass because it's a smaller cabinet because it's angled. But if they can operate as surround speakers and they can keep up, I have no doubt that they're going to be able to hang as height speakers. Are they huge? Yeah. Yes, they are huge. You know, I guess what I would want to test is the vertical off-axis response, because if you're tilting them down, you're off-axis to them, and that should be taken into account. So I still need to measure them. I think I've measured them on axis, and I was just like, dude, they could be amazing bookshelf speakers, put it that way, right? I don't think you could say that about a lot of the Atmos speakers, the height speakers. But these, we're going to use them as surrounds in our demo room. If they couldn't handle it, believe me, I'd pick some other speakers. I have lots of them.
Yeah.
But they can totally hang with the other speakers, so it's no issue. I think they're awesome. They're huge, though.
Yeah,
kind of expensive.
They're giant. Mosen asks, I have a dual PB3000 and dual NSSW100. I have mini DSP. Is it a good idea to use the dual Yamaha for near field subs behind my two recliners?
What are those subs?
NSSW100s? I don't know.
SW100. Okay. Oh, okay. 10 inch. 199.
Yeah, it looks like.
I don't know the specs on this thing.
You have it on screen or no?
They claim frequency response 25 to 180. With 100 watts of power, 50 watts. I'm a little bit doubtful about that spec. Like, I don't know if that's the minus 3 dB point. It could be 30 hertz more realistically. I don't know.
I mean, he's got them.
Yeah, 100 watts. Okay, so let me just say this. I used to think that, if you're not playing the subwoofer very loud, that you're going to be able to just extend the bass out to 20 hertz and use it that way. That's not really the case. And sometimes, lesser subs just cannot keep up with something like, what did he say? A PB3000. It's going to have a hard time keeping up with that thing.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I think he's saying, can I use it near field? Because when it's close to you, it doesn't have to play too loud.
Right.
I think it can be done. It can be done. It's just a little bit tricky because you have to use something like multi-sub optimizer, something like that, and you have to be able to limit the output capability. You have to limit those subs because they will not be able to keep up with the PB3000. Is that what it is? Yeah, PB3000. So it's a little bit tricky. It's tricky to do stuff like that. It's much easier to have all your subs the same capability. but it's doable. You can definitely use them as near field subs. Is it a good idea? I guess if you want a little bit more, you could get some more tactile for free because you don't have to spend more money on it. I would say try it. If you're advanced, try multi-sub optimizer. And if you start hearing bad noises from them, and your PB3000's having no issues, it may be time to retire those or move them to a different system that can really make use of them. Sometimes you might have a small room and you have some tiny bookshelf speakers, and for to add even a little bit more bass to those speakers might be better for you, right?
Oh,
Nice.
excuse me.
Okay,
Sorry.
what's next?
Mike Ortiz, when calibrating to reference, should I set my AVR to 0 and then set the speakers and sub to 75 dB? Also, does EQ affect speaker impulse response?
Okay. I don't know if Reverend Slim addressed this, but a lot of times what we say is to calibrate to a lower level, just because it hurts your ears to be sitting there with a decibel meter, instead of setting it to 0 and making sure that it's 85, you can also go to -10 and get it to 75. It's the same thing, just less stress on your ears.
Yeah.
Is that what you would say too?
That's what I've done. I've done that before. -10 on a master volume, and then 75 dB is my target. But I'm also using, I've used a dB meter that has a screw thread on the bottom, so I just put a tripod there, and I'm not like looking at it, or I'm not right there. How did you do the binaural one? Did you sit there?
Binaural level matching?
Yeah. Did you sit there, or
I
did
think
you
I
use the
lowered it.
basketball head?
Yeah, I just lowered it because it doesn't need to be, at 85.
Because I think I
Level
still
matching.
think like my left surround speaker, the one that's closest to me, is still hot. I think it's still hot, because even though, like, let's say if the microphone is centered on my face, it's still going to be like thinking my ear is 3 or 4 inches, 3 inches maybe away from where it actually is. So my ear is closer than the tip of the microphone, right? So
Yeah, the closer you are to a speaker, the more the distance matters. Does that make sense?
right.
Like
yeah,
if you have headphones, right? You have headphones right up against your ear. The moment you start to move in a little bit off, you're like, oh, no bass. A lot of the sound just begins to change immediately, just moving it slightly, right? Versus if you're listening to a speaker and you go kind of like this, it's not a huge difference, right? So it's just because you're so close to them, small movements make a big difference. Now, if you're in a outdoor venue and you're listening to a line array, if you move a little bit, it's not going to change the sound very much.
No.
The second part of the question was, does EQ affect speaker impulse response? I mean, technically, yes, because impulse response, it's convertible. Like you can convert the phase response, the frequency response, and the phase. Oh, what's happening to you? All that can be converted into an impulse response, right? Like they're interchangeable. If you take a measurement, let's say with pink noise that doesn't have any phase data, well, you can't get an impulse response, right? If I take an impulse response measurement, I can get frequency response and phase data. So they're interchangeable. So yes, it definitely does affect the impulse response. That's not usually what I look for when I'm looking at the impulse response, though. I'm looking more for timing reference. That's the reason I use it. And so it's just a different way of looking at the measurements, and certain ways are more useful than others. Impulse response for me, I love using it for setting delays. And what's next?
This one is for Aaron, so we'll try to. Okay. I'll take a picture of it and ask him next time. I didn't see that one. Okay, so if you have 6 heights, but play a 7.1.2 mix, which heights does it play? You know what? I'm gonna take a picture of this one, dude.
That's
I'm gonna.
Well, you know the
I'm
answer
gonna
to
have,
that.
What's up?
That's a quick answer, right?
It is, but I could make a video about it.
You want to make a video about it?
I might
Okay.
as well.
Well,
I
what's-
think
what's
it'll come
the
out
quick
the middle
answer?
heights. It should come
Just
out
the middle.
the middle heights. Yeah.
Just the middles. What happens if you have a four height speakers?
Then it should come out of all four.
All four. Which
Yeah.
one would you prefer out of those two setups then? In that particular scenario,
6,
you'd rather have it come out of the two?
because that's where it's supposed to come out of.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
I mean, there's that other thing. God, I'm gonna have to write down this again too. Remember what I was saying before? The way that they images the heights, the front and rear height images a speaker, images a sound in between them. They have to kind of like be facing each other to do so, right?
Well, I guess the reason why I was like, no, I don't know. It almost seems like so you have more speakers, but it'll use less of them now.
I
That's
know.
kind of how it feels. Like,
I
why
know,
not?
but-
Why couldn't you use all of them and kind of like matrix it so it's not using the front and the rear one as much? Like you got.
Sure, I'm all about it, dude. Yeah, let's do it.
Doesn't though.
Let's do it. Just let me call Dolby and have him change it real quick.
Yeah. I don't know. That's how it works.
Yeah. That's how it's going. So why not media encoded with theater mix, not for home Atmos? Do they think most home did not have enough physical space needed? I think it's more about the number of objects and they cluster them together for the home
Processing power, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the processing power on your AVR, if there was a benchmark and you can compare it with your phone. Now, I was going to say laptop, but just your phone, most modern phones, right? If you did a benchmark and you compare those two processors, I don't think it would even be, if you could do that, right? I think you'd find out the processors in your AVR is pretty, they're not strong processors, right? And so I think the theaters have they can just handle more objects.
Yeah. Secondhand Anthem. Wait, what? Secondhand Anthem AVM 70 plus tone winner, 11 channel amp, or Denon 6800H.
Anthem is the one that you can't really do much of anything to after you calibrate it, right? Is that the one we were just talking about with Arc Genesis? So I've had a few customers who asked about Magic Beans and whether they could use it, and I always say, what can you do with it? Like, what does Anthem allow you to do? Can you put your own target curve? And from what I've seen in the manuals, not really. Like, you can adjust the bass level, you can adjust the treble level, but that's about it. Like,
treble level.
It has a target curve that it thinks is correct, and that's what you're gonna get. To me, that's not a great assumption. Versus the 6800H, now you have the options for Dirac, you have the options for Odyssey, Multi-Q X, So, I mean, I've never tried the Anthem, but just based on that alone, I'd rather go with the Denon. What say you, Chana?
I'm looking at the Denon right here, the older version, the 6700. I like the 6700, so I'd go with the 6800. I've had the Anthem before, not the pre-pro, but I've had the Anthem before. It does look. If you don't want to tinker with anything, you just run Arc Genesis. You're a pretty good experience. If I'm curious to see if why not just be able to just not put an Arc in there. But then that's the whole point of getting the Anthem is to use their Arc Genesis. But I'd be surprised or I would be curious to see what a fully manual calibration would sound like on an Anthem, right?
Well, their interface looks great, right? It looks like very professional.
I mean, the front of it looks great. The UI is it's kind of bare bones. Not as bare bones as the Arkham. But
I'm talking about the room correction stuff looks pretty cool. Like the software.
No, but that's on the app. That's the app on the computer.
That's what I mean.
Oh, that I'm talking
That's
about the
pretty cool.
user interface. When you what
Oh.
you actually interface with, right? It's a little confusing, right? Because the inputs are virtual, so you can assign a different HDMI input for each different input. So like, not just like with the Denon where you can change the name of the input, you can do that too, but you can assign like you can have 4 from the Anthem I had, you can have 4 different calibrations, right? Let's say you do Anthem room correction with all your speakers, and then you have one with just 2 speakers for 2 channel, and then you have one with 2 speakers and a sub, or you can just do a full, maybe try to do a full manual and save that to a different one. So you can have 4 different things. So there, it's a bit complicated when you set up your, let's say, HDMI 1 input. You want to have your Blu-ray player on there, and then once you get to like the 4th one, you have to like, dude, it's weird. It's weird. It goes to something else. I remember I was having some troubles figuring that out when I had the Anthem. So it's one of those things where it's like, I would just go with the ease of use and simplicity of the Denon, and it is more flexible as far as Magic Beans is concerned. And does the Anthem have Auro 3D or IMAX Enhanced? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, that's that.
Okay.
Is it the standard to aim for 10 dB hot on the sub versus the mains? Yes.
I don't know. I didn't
As long as it hasn't been compensated for in the what is it called? In the test tones already.
I think was he asking about the toolkit?
Yeah, maybe.
Because Reverend Slim says most calibration discs and AVRs pre-compensate the LFE tone, so it's 10 dB down because LFE gets a 10 dB boost in decoding. So if you were to run the spatial toolkit, what you might find is if you measure your LFE, that it's going to be 10 dB hotter because of this compensation that he's talking about. Now, it could be argued that we should have reduced it so, you know, when you play an 85 dB test tone, you know, you're calibrating all your other ones to 85 dB, let's say, that when you play your sub, it's not going to be 95, it's going to be 85, which means that we would have to reduce it. We didn't do that. We just wanted to play the same tone, you know, same level out of all of them, right? Just almost like a copy and paste, boom, right? Just to minimize any potential issues.
Variations, and issues,
So I can see the argument for both methods, right? The reason why I don't think it's a huge deal is because calibrating your sub level to your main speakers is not really, it's not the most important thing that you need to do anyway, because if you're using some kind of target curve, that target curve is going to, include a bass rise, in which case, level matching them is irrelevant, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to level match that to? Right, the subs kind of stand on their own. So when you're starting to use target curves, it's not really relevant. If you're using a perfectly flat response, then okay, I guess that might be important. But yeah, what else?
That was it on all the starred ones.
Okay.
There's a lot of chit chat in here. I'm not sure. Oh, Derek says no Auro. Yes, IMAX Enhanced. I would imagine that's in regards to the Anthem. Yes, we're still waiting for Chana to go from speaker on a stick to speaker on a garage door opener. Is that an automatic lift system? I don't know, man. Like I took these down, took them home, and to run Magic Beans on the Yamaha, and then listen to a bunch of content for like a week, and then I'm like, oh crap, I got to bring them here. And I took them down, and I was just like, oh, as soon as I got in here, it was more a pain in the ass to just get stuff into the office because of the parking and stuff. But Joe, you'll see, like it's just like we're done.
Yeah,
and put them in the stick them in the corner. Like that's pretty.
Man,
easy.
I'm excited. I'm excited to set up the room, get it sounding really good, and I'm curious to hear what everybody else thinks of it.
Yeah, I'm excited to stay at your place. Fucking hang out. The girls, dude, I'm sure I haven't seen the girls in a long time. They probably grew like a foot.
Yeah, we're gonna play some soccer, and I'm gonna have Remy school you.
Oh yeah. So she'll
With your
totally
bad
scream.
foot, you still got that bad foot. It's over.
I got yeah, it's my right knee. Sometimes it's the left knee. I got a workout in. You guys kept yammering about this silliness, and I'm like trying to work out, and it just ding, ding on my watch and stuff. And I'm like, what is this? God damn it, Reverend Slim. God
Oh,
damn it,
yeah.
Joe.
It's over. If him and I are talking in our group, in our after show group, just we go back and forth. Knights to Walk says, does Magic Bean support old receivers like Denon X6200, which has no support of multi QX? Yeah, but you'd have to use the graphic EQ option, and there's some issues with that just because they don't have graphic EQ for the sub, right? It's only for all the main speakers, but not the sub. So you'd probably want to use something like a mini DSP so you could EQ your subs, because EQing your bass is important.
Yeah.
A lot of issues are in the bass.
Is Derek?
Yeah.
Is Derek in our after show?
I'm not sure if it's the same Derek.
Do you have a discount code? There's one on the website. If you just hang out, if you try to exit out of there, it'll give you a code. Don't tell anybody. Shh.
How dare you try to leave?
Motion says 6400H has 4 independent subs. Does it make sense to use a PB 3000 and NS antenna subs?
Oh, we already answered that one, no?
No, but should he use it? The 6800, should he plug everything into the 6800? And yeah, right, might as well.
Yeah, the simple answer to that is just, I used to think that the more speakers the better, right? But there's such thing as less is better. There's such thing as though the quality of those subs cannot keep up with your PB 3000. There might be a limit to that, right? And you have to be smart about how much you limit those Yamaha subs so they don't make any bad noises, right? It's a little bit advanced to do some of that stuff. It's not easy. There's no high pass crossover for subs, is there? On those, there might be. On the 4 independent outs, can you say, okay, the one that's connected to this channel, I only want it to play 40 hertz to 80 hertz.
It's just levels. It's just levels.
No
independent levels. I don't think so.
You want a mini DSP if you wanted to even start thinking about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big Derek, he's little Derek. All right, DJ. All right, I see you. That's fun.
All right, let's hop into the after show. I think we've answered a lot of questions here.
Yeah.
We had Phil on, so shout out to Phil.
Yeah. Random. Sort of random.
Yeah, that was tricky, That takes some balls after us kind of grilling the M1, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
We're kind of like being hard on it for him to want to come on and say, hey, I want to talk about it. Hey, props to him.
I was pretty surprised. I saw him
dangerous.
His phone call come in. I'm like, oh, Phil, what up, dude? He's like, hey, about to jump on a plane in Japan. Hey, listen, somebody's forwarded me your guys' video talking about the M1. I wanted to get on and talk to you guys some more about it. I was like, okay, sure.
You know what you're getting into, right?
Yeah. Phil's awesome. Love Phil.
Yeah, he's awesome.
All right, everybody. Let's see here. Let's run through all our banners here. Make sure you join the crew, crew.dailyhifi.com. We go into what we call the after show, and we talk to all of the, our after show members. Want to pick up some merch like Joe's hat? Go to shop.dailyhifi.com. Pick it up. We appreciate it. And if you like to listen to podcasts as opposed to watching them, and, if you have a fear of watching somebody eat on camera like Brad Pitt or me, go listen to the podcast on anchor.fm/Daily HiFi. And I think that's pretty much it. On behalf of myself and Mr. Joe and Tell, what does that say?
Just Magic Beans is out there, something like that.
Yeah,
man. We'll see you guys at the show.
That's right. This is our last. Hey, if you know anyone in the Southern California area that wants to experience Dolby Atmos on a speaker array, maybe they're on a soundbar. Maybe they're on TV speakers and they want to check it out. They want to try before they buy. Have them come by. We are in room 247, right? At the Costa Mesa Hilton in Costa Mesa, Southern California. And come by and say what up. Look for Magic Beans or, yeah, there it is. 3050 Bristol Street, Costa Mesa, June 7, 8, and 9, room 247. That's it. Hey,
There's that coupon that you're talking about.
oh yeah, and go to theshownow.com for $5 and put in exhibitor 5. Get $5 off your ticket. I had to read that. That's tiny. Look at that.
And also, we'll have some discounts for Magic Beans as well as a spatial audio calibration toolkit if we see you in person.
Yeah, you got to come in person.
Extra
And then
special
you can-
deals.
yeah, and then you can get autographs. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they want.
All right, everybody.
See you guys.
Until next week. Have a good one.